Hello and welcome to TrishRockTV and Energy Shift, changing energy, shifting perceptions. In this episode, we speak with a truly empowered woman who is taking on positive change in the world in a big way. As the founder of EcoStyles and also Clothes Swap and Style, Nina Gbor is an award-winning positive change agent who advocates for sustainability and female empowerment. She coined the phrase, "Get off the fashion trendmill." I love that, which means individuality should be the premise for choosing our clothes, not fashion trends. Nina is also a journalist and has a master's degree in international development. She works with women and hosts clothes swap and restyling workshops to reduce fashion waste and to help women evolve to the best version of themselves using style. Nina was awarded Champion of the Year 2018 in the Canberra Women in Business Awards. One of the most genuine, passionate, and incredibly original and free-spirited people I'm honoured to be friends with. Welcome, Nina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, you look stunning and you are such an advocate, but also a role model really for other women, but also for what you do. You absolutely represent what you do 100%.
Oh, I really appreciate that. It's just so kind of you to say that. Thank you.
So the first thing, let's talk about eco styling. What is an eco stylist?
Right. I get that question every single day. So EcoStylist is it's a new career, relatively new career. So it's basically personal styling done through sustainable and ethical clothing and techniques. Yeah. So basically it's styling where you take into account the environment and people and garment workers into the equation. So people don't realize that the fashion industry is one of the most polluting industries in the world. It's also laden with a lot of social justice issues, particularly with women, because 80% of the garment workers in the world are women, and a lot of them are underpaid, paid very little for the work they do, and treated really poorly and without dignity or respect. So eco-styling is basically personal styling and promoting ethical ways of doing, looking amazing, looking gorgeous, looking stylish, fabulous, all those things, but just bringing those sustainable elements into it.
Absolutely. And, just going and grabbing something off a rack somewhere, you don't know really most of the time where it's kind of made and how it's been made. And that's, one of your big passions, isn't it, as well? The people that work in those factories, mostly women, they're kind of in that situation where they need that money to support their family, and they can't really speak up about their injustices. But to change this from the consumer, that's where change will start there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not to say that consumers are at fault, but the consumers, it's the larger corporations, particularly fast fashion brands. But the consumers do have agency. They do have power to change things. Yeah. So one of the things, with eco styling, my website, my brand, and a lot of the content I put out, I talk about is that, it's female empowerment on so many different levels. So female empowerment for the women who make our clothes. And we as consumers have the power to change our lives. So as we women in the West are fighting for equality, fair pay, we actually have the power to do that for women developing countries in a funny way, through the choices we make, through advocating for these big corporations to ensure that, the women in these factories are treated with dignity, they're given fair wages, they're allowed to join unions, they're not being abused or physically beat up by their employers. We have the power to change that. And maybe on some karmic level, when we do, not just with fashion, but maybe even other areas, we'll also get that for ourselves. And with regards to empowerment, it's also when you wear things that, from an EcoStyling perspective, when you wear things that make you happy as an individual, that suit you, it's sustainable, natural fabrics, it can alter your life. It can completely change your life, and it can help you achieve your goals because you look better, you feel better, you love yourself more, and you start to dress like the person you want to become. It's like style magic. You just literally, alchemy even. You just literally become another person through that. It's so empowering. In the same vein, you can use that to change somebody's life, change your life, and change somebody else's life. And I just think, how amazing is that? You know?
Absolutely. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah. Right.
Because,
Yeah.
that is what you do. You're like a styling alchemist. You do.
Yes.
And
I like that, styling alchemist.
Yeah, and it's not just about putting clothes on someone. It's truly about them feeling good, but not being a slave to fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wisely get off the fashion treadmill, because I think fashion trends are part of the big reason why we have this such immense fashion waste, because people are chasing trends, and you can't keep up with trends because there's so many. And you wear that, dispose of it, wear that, dispose of it, hence the fashion waste, hence the need for these fast fashion companies who are the ones pushing the agenda, but hence the need for them to push these factories to produce clothes cheaper and quicker and maltreat garment workers. So, basically a lot of us in the movement are advocating for slow fashion.
Yeah, but also individual fashion. And one of the other things stemming from individual women in particular, I think, because I've worked in many places, as you have, where they really do judge you on what you wear. From that point of view, if you're not confident enough in yourself to kind of break free of that, then you do get on that fashion treadmill, and it's very hard to get off, right? So it's got to start with empowerment as well. And all of the photos and all of the posts and all of the blogs that you put out there, you're not sticking to any particular fashion trend. You're not being corporate, you're not being this, you're not being that, you're being you and looking absolutely stylish and fabulous being you. And it starts from that place of inner peace with yourself too, I feel, with not worrying so much about what other people think.
That's what I try to bring to clients and women I work with, or whether in the workshops or people who engage with my content, is with each of those photos, that particular outfit might be a dress from 1950 something, right? It might be something completely way off. It could be a workman's dungarees or something I'm wearing that I style up and make it look as stylish as possible. And I'm wearing it because I love it. And my message to women when I try to do that is, I'm probably one of few stylists that does not want you to dress like them. I do not want you to dress like me. Don't copy what I wear. What I want you to take from my content is to say, oh, wow, she can wear that. It looks good on her. Maybe I can wear that velvet dress I've had in my closet that is so unfashionable, but I love it, for myself. I want to give women that confidence to wear what makes them happy and what looks good on them.
And who cares what year it was made? And I love the photo shoot you did of Audrey Hepburn, the style you had. And I'm like, yes. I mean, if we truly love the look of something, why not wear it?
Yeah, that was homage. So I see Audrey Hepburn as probably one of the style queens of all time, and influenced my style, certainly. So I felt I had to pay homage to the queen, one of the queens.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So first thing, the next thing I just want to ask you is, with just for the people who are watching and haven't heard of what you do before or what it's about, sourcing these clothes is not just old clothes we've got in the back of the wardrobe that we decide to wear again. You source these clothes at markets, at clothes swaps, which you've created your own clothes swap, op shops, and those places. And one thing, because we've known each other for a few years now, and one thing I realised from shopping that way is that you just find unique things that nobody else will have right now, but you also get it at a better price too, right? But there's things that you just can't find. There's treasures in those stores that people have had in the back of their cupboards, and then finally, like, yeah, you know what, I don't want them anymore. And I do a lot of shopping that way now. But you changed my mind on it. In the beginning, I was going there, to get better value cost-wise, but now I don't do that. Now I go there to find treasures, and it's a different mindset. And this one, for instance, I needed a dress for a photo shoot. So I'm like, and seriously, I did look in the shops and I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, I don't like any of that stuff. So I'm like, okay, so straight to the op shop, and there it was. And I'm like, thank you.
The op shops gods do bless. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about where you source when you take a client and go and show them how they can empower themselves. Where do you take them?
So it varies. Markets are a great one. Fashion markets, because there's more variety. In one place, rather, more variety in one place at one, in the time slot that we usually have. Otherwise, op shops.
So that's clothes swap that you do? That's your clothes swap event? Yeah.
Well, normally I don't style clients at the clothes swap, because as a host, I have a million things, other things that I'm doing, making sure everything's okay. But clothes swaps can be a place to work with clients sometimes, although it can be quite tricky. But I've never styled a client at a clothes swap directly. I picked out a few things and say, here, I think this would look great on you, but the full service, there's just not enough time for that. But so markets, particularly pre-loved markets, like fashion markets are a good one, vintage markets, and then op shops. So when it's op shops, usually I'll try to pick a street or area where there's several in a close proximity, and it's just going with them and doing the usual styling thing, looking at body shapes and their coloring and trying to find pieces that will work for them. Now, having said that, this is much more difficult than conventional styling, which I can do as well. That's shopping malls and things like that, but it's very challenging because you don't have everything in size and color order like you do in retail. So it's different in the sense that this is where the education and awareness comes into it, that with the client is teaching them how to shop for themselves as much as possible, and hoping that, we find a few things along the way that will work for them. But then showing them the system of how to op shop, where to op shop, what colors to look out for. Basically, because understandably, it can be overwhelming if you're not used to op shopping. If you're used to going to retail where, like I said, everything's in color, size, order. You have the website, you have models. In op shops, that's not the case. And some people find they just don't know where to start or where to look. So I by knowing their body shapes and what clothes suit their body shapes and their coloring, it's easier to just pick stuff out.
And then you also show them that, because people like me, I don't have any idea really about styling or fashion, but you teach them the pieces.
You do really well, nonetheless.
There are certain, one pair of shoes can go with a whole lot of different things. One dress can be, and you've done this in some of your blogs, one dress can be changed for 5 different occasions. So you do that as well. So it's not quantity, it's the quality of the pieces you buy and how they match in with your other things. And I think that's a great skill to teach and to have.
Yeah, that's the restyling element I do. And this is the other thing I like to do with clients, is that the problem with us in a modern world is not that we need new clothes for most of us. It's that we have so many clothes, we have nothing to wear on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So how many times have you stood in front of your closet in the morning and be like, there are literally clothes falling out. Like, you can't even close the door. And you're like, I have nothing to wear.
Yeah.
Or someone invites you to a wedding and you're like, I have no clothes. I have nothing to wear. And literally like your room literally can't fit another thing in there because there's clothes and shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
So the problem is not that we need new clothes, is that we need creative new ways of wearing what we already have. So my favorite thing to do, my favorite service and what I do the most is go into clients' wardrobes and create new outfits from what they already have. So, you know, that's where the one dress in 5 different ways for 5 different occasions comes in, because I can take a dress and show you how to wear it, you know, to the office for work, and then go from that look in less than 2 minutes, go from that office look to work, what I call work to wine, which is, you know, after work, you want to go for wine with the girls. You don't want to go home and change. You just do a few accessories, a few switch ups and, you know, changes that you can do in the bathroom at work as well, or in your car. And you come out looking like Supergirl. You come out looking very different, but it's the same dress, but you can directly tell straight away that it's the same dress you wore to work. Then taking that dress, change it up to, you know, like a corporate sort of Eliza Doolittle race course look or wedding guest look. Yeah. Change it to casual again. And this is really great for like if you're going away for the weekend or a short break, or you just want to pack light, or you just want a minimalist wardrobe. I think that's perfect. And
just those little changes make you feel different too. So if you're in work mode, but you just change a couple of little things to go to drink mode, you feel different too.
You feel it. You literally feel different in yourself. It's phenomenal, the power of clothes. And this is why I call it style magic, style alchemy, because how an outfit can completely transform not only how you look, but how you feel, and ultimately how you behave and how you show up to the world, you know, in your relationships, in your friendships. And that's the power of style. It's not just the vanity. It's, you know, truly life-changing.
It's just so wonderful that you're emerging and creating this, because it's something new, and you know, it's just so good that you're doing that, because truly there are people, I mean, it comes very easily to you to style. I mean, there are people like myself where it doesn't come easy, and you know, I see other people who just throw a scarf on and they look $1 million. I throw the scarf on and I look like I've thrown a scarf on, right? So
well, having said that, Trish, there's some things that come naturally to you that I would struggle with. You know, everyone does
have their thing, and being able to go into somebody's wardrobe and say, look, you've got a zillion things to wear here, but let's find one and let's show you how you can easily just change it here. It's a beautiful service that you do, and that creates that starts the change. It starts the change in them because they look fabulous, so they feel fabulous. And then because they feel fabulous, they don't care what other people think. And then they, you know, really start to explore themselves, and their own style.
And I think what I love the most is when I actually see, for me, and this is one of the reasons I got into styling women, is that light bulb moment when you style someone in an outfit and they turn around and look at themselves. Like it's like they're seeing themselves for the first time. They're like, wow, I can actually look pretty or beautiful. You actually literally see that moment where they looked at themselves differently, and that's the most beautiful thing ever for a woman to experience that. And it's not a vanity thing, it's just like a self-love, self-acceptance thing. And what I love the most, to follow on to that, is when you actually start to physically see their lives changing. Like they start to go for that senior management position in their office. They start to feel like they can have that and they deserve it. You know, and it's phenomenal. It's just truly phenomenal. And, you know, also to be able to say those things in your closet, not working for you. Let's get rid of that, you know.
And I'm going to show you how to, you know, source other clothes when you need them, and in an easy way. It's powerful. It's really giving me goosebumps, you know, and I can see, and I can actually feel your passion coming through, and that's what gives me goosebumps, because you know, you've created this, you know. So how did you forge a brand new career that was previously non-existent? How did you do that?
It was in a weird way, it was kind of a happy accident. I feel like there were moments in my life that made it so that I would be doing this right now. So when I'll give you a few of those moments very quickly. So when I was little, I grew up watching classical films in my house. Me and my brothers, my mom. That's what we did. We watched really old movies from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, like Sound of Music. Some of the Audrey Hepburn stuff, Grace Kelly stuff, and like Gone with the Wind. And yeah, so I think that's where my sense of style came from. That's why I'm such a 50s girl, where my style is concerned. Because those women were so powerful, and they weren't portrayed as powerful protagonists. Right? Well, in some films, yes, but they were often portrayed, but their style, like, they commanded so much power and respect, and they were beautiful, and they wore these beautiful clothes and always put together. And I saw that as like a 3-4-year-old, and I was like, wow. So I think that's where my sense of style came from, and my love for style.
And they have presence and
a presence. And I think I picked that up at a really early age, funny enough. At the same time, at the same time, some of those films, it just portrayed women as domesticated and men as the protagonist, the hero, the problem solver, the breadwinner, primarily the breadwinner. And that was kind of the model in my home as well that I grew up with. So I thought that was just how it was, and it wasn't a problem for me at that age. Moving forward, I grew up in the States. So when I was a teenager, my family moved back to Nigeria in Africa. And I remember seeing this one particular ethnic group where the women did all the farming, because that ethnic group, traditionally, they're farmers. So in this particular ethnic group, the women did all the farming and looked after the household, the children, put the children through school. And unfortunately, the men drink alcohol all day, in the local beer parlors. Wow. And this really messed with the model that I had of the world of men, gender and female roles. And I thought, this is strange. But then it taught me a lesson. It made me realize that when women are empowered, the whole family's taken care of. And the whole community is taken care of. Yeah. In fact, the whole society and nation is taken care of. Yeah. And I say this I love and respect men and believe in equality, and that means respecting men too. Yeah. I have 4 older brothers, so I do love men and respect men. It's not that men are wrong. It's just that when it's only men that are empowered, it doesn't always trickle down. So that made me start to realize that we need this balance and equality, because there's a lot that men bring to the table equally. There's a lot that women bring to the table. So we need this harmony and balance, not just one gender, in leadership position.
And the role playing in leadership. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that's where my desire for female empowerment was born. Around the same age as well, 15, I had another funny experience where, like most girls in high school, I wanted to be popular, wanted to hang out with the popular girls that wore all these designer clothes and these trendy clothes. And I told my mom, I want this design, I want this, and she's like, I'm not buying that stuff for you, which I'm glad she did. So this one particular day, she and I were on our way to lunch, and we passed by an op shop. And guess we won't believe what was in the store window of that op shop. It was, have you seen Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the green curtain dress that she upcycled the green velvet dress that she upcycled from curtains. That beautiful dress, the iconic one in the movie.
Yeah.
There was a replica of that dress in the store window.
Oh my goodness! You just would have been drawn to that like a lolly.
Like a moth to flame. Like, I was hypnotized. I don't think I walked into the shop. I think I levitated. I just with my eyes just, yeah. So I went in there, I tried it on, and I was just playing dress up. So for me, it was like seeing a celebrity for the first time. That's how much I was in awe of this dress. Yeah. And I tried on the dress, and in that op shop, they had a lot of contemporary clothes as well. So I tried on mixing contemporary with vintage, old and new, accessorizing. And I believe that's the eureka moment that my eco-styling career was born, because after that, I never really cared anymore about conventional retail. Yeah, sure, I'll go into a mall, but it never really excited me because in that place I could create my own style. I could become my own person. I didn't have to follow those girls and wear what they were wearing. Wow. Which deep down I didn't really like what they were wearing anyway, but I just wanted acceptance for some reason. And I could just create whoever I wanted to be with those clothes, like you'd see like some random clown suit. Not that I wanted to be a clown, but putting it on was fun, So that was when I started eco-styling, mixing old and new, playing with contemporary, and just creating something based on what I felt like wearing, what made me happy, and what suited me.
And did that change your perception on needing to hang out with the popular girls to feel good?
It certainly did. It certainly did. Because the power, and with the power of style, how it made me feel, I felt like I didn't need as much acceptance from others. Yeah. I enjoyed it so much that it was just something I couldn't let go of, just for the sake of hanging out with those people. And the clothes in that shop, I should say, were the things that in the West that doesn't get sold in op shops or discarded, get sent to developing countries like in Africa, like Nigeria and other places in the world. And the other thing, I as much as I loved it, there was something else I noticed, unfortunately, which was that those clothes were so cheap. A lot of them, as you know, clothes are made of polyester nowadays, most of them. Yeah. It had destroyed local tailoring industry, local fashion industry. So the local traditional attire that's made by, the people in that community, they weren't getting clients anymore, people making clothes, because people were just buying these cheap clothes that were imported from the West. And on top of that, they don't do landfills there. So it's mountains of trash. So these clothes are ending up as mountains of trash, which, the runoff was going into the water systems of like the residential areas. So I saw the environmental impact even way back then.
So it was all of where you are now, all started taking place from 15, really, and it all started to kind of come together. So over the years, you've always had this there ready to emerge, and now you do it full time now, and speak, and you help people, and you mentor, and you've created the swap markets, and it must just feel. Do you feel like you're in a dream some days? Like, wow.
Yeah, I feel like it's really funny because there have been a lot of times in my life where I just cry because I'm not doing anything I want to do. I'm miserable. And I look at my friends probably that I went to school with or uni with, and they're just doing amazing things, or they look like they're doing amazing things. And then I come to moments like this where I realize, oh my gosh, I needed to be in that particular place, have that particular experience so that I could be here, and then I'm grateful for having been in those places, because now all of the things, elements of my life, like, with watching classical films as a kid brought me to love style, watching, learning about female empowerment. What I do now is very much around female empowerment, and also with the op shop experience, and with that, I'm also doing poverty alleviation, hopefully, for these women, these garment workers. So it's just all, I couldn't have designed this matrix. It's just a beautifully woven matrix that I know that there's someone or something put a hand in it, because it wasn't.
Absolutely. It's that big jigsaw of life, and we get so caught up in what's the next piece. But if we just let it happen, it all unravels beautifully. And it is a big tapestry, and it's amazing. And I just can't wait to see where this takes you. And I know that you're going to have a true global impact, and you've already got such a following from all over the globe, and making a difference. So if people in your local area would like to come and get some help from you, or see what you do, or go to one of your markets, where can they connect? And you're in Canberra right now. So in Canberra, where can they connect with you there?
In Canberra, they can connect with me, well, anywhere really, because I'll tell you, and I'll let you in on a little secret, which I've not told people, is that I'm likely to be moving to Melbourne very soon. So, so I'll be in Melbourne.
Yeah.
but I mean, I will still come to Canberra because I have events and things, so I still will be doing things in Canberra for some
Absolutely. And then you'll have events in Melbourne too. But
yeah,
so
yeah.
the
So
styles
I think
markets will still be continuing there where you've set them up.
so the things like the clothes swaps,
Yes.
I work, so with the style markets, I partner with the Canberra fashion market. I partner with people. It's not really my market.
Okay.
It's been there for many years.
Okay.
But the clothes swaps are what I do, and the restyling workshops as well.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing those in Melbourne.
Wonderful.
But I'll be coming to Canberra, on the odd occasion to do those kind of events as well. The best way to connect with me is through my website. It's ecostyles.com.au, or on social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And you do amazing blogs, and the photos are always stunning. And
Thank you.
like I commented the other day, you definitely need to be on all of the covers of all of the magazines
Too kind.
the globe, because you're just stunning. And I think, apart from you being stunning and knowing how to style yourself, you're wearing something different, right? And it's not the latest, $100,000 little shirt from some big designer somewhere but it's not accessible to people, right? You're wearing things that are accessible to people, and in a style that is so different that it gives people confidence to try something different for themselves too. Put some colors together that maybe don't match. Put some styles together that maybe aren't meant to be together, right? Make your own creations. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any events that you have on will all be on your website?
Yes, all events are always on my website.
Wonderful.
In the tab that says updates. And then on social media as well. I think that's when we do a lot of the promotion. I have a clothes swap coming up on April 20th, April 28th, a restyling workshop on how to build a sustainable wardrobe. I think that's June 25th in Canberra. And just stay go to the website so that you see what events are coming up, because there's always events popping up here and there.
Brilliant. And all the links are there for people to find you. So is there one last thing you'd like to advise people or lift people or empower women with? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think I'd like to say, if I was to add anything, I don't know, there's so much to say, but I think what's the thread that's been going through my mind lately, I think maybe from experiences I've been having, I can just share that, which is for women and people, everyone, to know that you're enough, and just keep saying to yourself, I am enough. You don't have to be anything extra. You don't have to strain yourself or conform or fit into what other molds that other people form for you, what they want you to be. Just, you are enough as you are. And knowing that, I think that's the most empowering thing for anything you want to do, whether it's something in style or your career or your personal relationships. Just know that you are enough. And with a style perspective, have the courage to wear what makes you happy, regardless of what people will think, because there's a lot of power in that for you.
Oh, thank you so much. And once again, your energy just gives me goosebumps. And yeah, you're just so inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you will be popping up everywhere, more so than you are now.
Yes.
You pop up everywhere now, but this will be a real global change that you're.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been phenomenal. Like, I could talk to you for ages. I could talk to you all day. So
thank you. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. All of the links to connect with Nina are here, and thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tune in next week for another inspiring episode of Trish Rock TV.